Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, looks like the chat is quiet at the moment anyway, Rob. So
let's have a look at the comments here.
Oh,
there's no one here. Is there no one here? I can't
no.
see any.
They're all hiding. They're all hiding, I'd imagine so. But we are
There's
a bit
no one
early.
here. We'll just wait. We can carry on just talking to ourselves.
Mm.
Maybe they're all expecting it. And oh, there's one. There's 11.
Yeah, no, it's usually 9:30, like, you know. So, but I don't mind going ahead like the extra half hour earlier. I don't mind. It's like, but
I think we should ask people what they think about starting at 9. I mean, that just for me, some people some people still have to work on a Saturday, don't they? And get up early, and so therefore starting at 9:30 and finishing at 11:30 is quite difficult for some people, isn't it? I guess.
well, I suppose it's also a matter of routine, you know. So, hi, Kendo. I see it as a matter of routine now. If it was just me alone now tonight, I would just fire it up at 9:30, like, you know. But
Yeah,
I know you like to get a little bit of sleep sometimes, so
it's the age, Jimmy.
it's showing too. It's absolutely showing.
You bastard.
Shut up, Jim.
I see you're joining me, Jim. You're going for the close cut these days.
Yeah, but look, no receding hairline though. You know,
No, you
none of
bastard. Give me some of that hair, will you?
that. Hi, Kendo. How
Good
you
evening,
doing?
Ken.
Jimmy O. Jimmy O's in
Jimmy
there.
O's in. Evening, Jimmy.
Miss Blue Sky. Hi.
Hey, Miss Blue Sky.
Yeah, I think you're right, Robert. Maybe we should just touch base. We'll touch base at about 9:30 when about like what people think. But if it was me personally, I would just keep to the usual routine, like, you know. But because this is probably one of your special nights off, like, and joining in on the Friday night, you know, it does help keep the viewers on their toes a little bit and keep them a little bit expect the unexpected sort of thing, you know. So
Evening, Paula.
hi, Paula. Yeah, so this Alex Belfield thing, I've seen it blow up in the chat there, and I've seen Alex Belfield's name come up a number of times. And you know, I have to admit, I am totally ignorant about who he is, what he does. I've been looking at the to and fro in the channel there, on the Russian Israeli channel, I should say, and it's quite interesting the views. Like, a lot of people seem to be kind of, oh, Belfield, he's an all right dude, you know. He's done just said this, said that, and I have to say I'm coming from a place of ignorance, so maybe you could sort of like fill in some of the blanks for me, because you know, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Belfield was he was a radio DJ for the BBC for quite a few years, and he's always been a bit risque in terms of the way he's always been a bit titillatious, and he also for quite a few years he was the warm-up act for Ken Dodd, believe it or not.
I kid.
So you know, he's. I'm sure Jimmy O will appreciate comedy and stuff like that. But apparently, yeah, you know, he does impressions and things like that. But he also used to do a lot of stories and about the BBC, and a lot of these. What do they call it? You know, when you you request. For something from a company, and they have to divulge it. What's it called? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, a FOIA request, is it?
Yeah, you know, where you
Freedom of Information Act, like this.
Yeah, Freedom of Information, FOC. Yeah. And he made a lot of money with FOCs with the BBC by exposing how much money they had wasted, etc. And he would sell these stories to newspapers, and he made a lot of money with that. And then, I mean, because when Ken Dodd died, obviously he died along with Ken Dodd. He couldn't do that act, and then he was just doing different work on the BBC. He got, I believe, sacked a few times, and then COVID came along, and he decided to go on YouTube and try something different. And before you knew it, he just gained this massive following, absolute massive following. And it was over, I can't remember, I think it was over 300,000 people eventually. And then he went over to a pay, because he used to do live, and then he went to pay with Jim Davidson's platform.
Heard of him, yeah.
Jim Davidson's got a private platform as well. And I thought it was always a little bit dodgy with Jim Davidson, because he's one of the shaky hand free Masons type guy.
Okay,
and,
yeah.
So Alex Belfield was a love him or hate him sort of, or loathe him sort of guy, I think. And I think once he went over to pay-per-view for his live shows, he lost a lot of people's trust and stuff like that. And but whilst COVID was on, he had this thing going on that at first he was quite public about with Jeremy Vine, of the BBC. And his key thing he was moaning about on there was that Jeremy Vine wasted £1,000 worth of the British taxpayers' money throwing a party for someone who'd died at the BBC or something like that. And he made a big thing about it. And he would always also like talk about certain other characters. And then eventually he stopped talking about it. And then he got raided quite badly. And he made a big public thing about this. And they took all his computers, they took his phones, and he really embarrassed the coppers that did it. He had cameras up. He got a lot of support. He went to court about that. He won. He won in court about that, and he was very big on defending himself and taking people to court himself and defending himself and winning. And when this case came up, he decided to defend himself, and he didn't go with a barrister, and he came unstuck. Now, one of his big things, I think, is that he was really always putting the BBC down. Now, whatever you think about the BBC, I think we can all agree they're a big institution, and they're probably more than just the BBC. They're probably a propaganda and a part of the government, etc.
Obviously, yes.
And he made a big thing about the guy, the poster, not the poster, the statue. Now, what I posted it, didn't I, in the chat today about the poster, because Jason posted that he'd been given that he lost his case and got, was it 4 years or something like that, 4.5 years, and he's going to serve out at least 2.5 years or something like that. And I said to Jason, just because not everyone's in the Raconteurs news chat, are they? I said to Jason, I don't like him, Jason, but his sentence for me, this is what I said, was over the top compared to other crimes. And I think he's been made an example, perhaps, as he was always having a go at the BBC and reminding the public about Eric Gill, who raped his wife, his kids, and his dog. And there's a statue of Eric Gill.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I seen that post, and it says, "Wow, that is a sick story. Raping your wife, your kid, and your dog. I tell you what, that takes a special kind of demonic possession. Wow, it's like,
and they've still got the statue up of Eric Gill outside the BBC. And this was at the time when they were going around and knocking down all the different statues, and all the BBC people were about Eric Gill and not saying a word about it.
Yeah.
So
it's, when I was reading the story about Belfield, it kind of reminded me a little bit of some of the laws that were being used against Tommy Robinson there over, I think it was last year. Like he was accused of something similar, I believe, of stalking. But I think with a mixture of like calling to somebody's door and media stalking. So I kind of like reminded me of Tommy's case there just a few months back, really.
Yeah. Yeah, again, whatever you think of Tommy Robinson, and I mean, I think he's an asset of
Yeah, yeah.
Soros, isn't he?
I believe everybody who's in the public image right now, in the public view, is kind of questionable, and we need to question everything and everybody. And we can get into this in a little while, Robert. But that was a pretty good breakdown of this Belfield story. I'm definitely enlightened now. So
Yeah. So that's where Belfield was, and yeah, he's really come unstuck. I was shocked that he went down. I mean, I thought he was going to get a suspended sentence or something, and he'll appeal it, obviously.
Yeah.
But his big mistake was not having a barrister. I think, it really was.
Well, obviously, like he's used to defending himself by the sounds of it, like
Yeah,
So,
and he's done a good job.
Yeah.
In the past.
And what was he? What sort of was he using common law, or was he using their rules, their system?
No, their rules, the Crown's rules. He was under their rules.
Yeah.
So again, if you're he said too much, I think, about too many people. He was on their target, I think, and so they just wanted to bring him down.
Yeah, I want to greet Webster to the show. Hiya, Webster, and media mogul, media mogul, MMM. So hi media, and John Smith called, and Chris Partridge just called by to say hello. So welcome everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, Webby. Nice to see you here. We don't normally have your presence, so it's lovely to have you on board.
Yeah, well, there was a bit of a conversation going on there in the background, and I think it was Jimmy O opened with this Marvel's next film, New World Order, as a character called Sabra. Is it Sabra? She is a Mossad agent, and her costume has the Palestinian Star of David on it.
Wow.
Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, but Webby did follow up with this, and I kind of think I agree with Webby on this. Like, Jimmy, the Star of David is the Star of Raphael, not David. Moloch and the Star of your God, Raphael, Acts 7:43. So I was thinking, like, the Star of David is not really a Palestinian symbol, although, like, I don't know much about the Marvel film, the New World Order. Is it a piss take, or is it just a misinformation campaign? I don't know. Like, but I always assumed Star of David sort of adorns a lot of the Israeli flags and stuff like that. So
well, the Star of David can also be interpreted as a pagan, isn't it?
True. Well, all these symbols originate from somewhere, and
yeah.
And they have been, like, as symbols tend to get co-opted, like, down through the years and get robbed. Like a lot of pagan symbolism has been sort of like incorporated into the Christian churches and God knows where else. So
John Smith has said this. Stephen Yaxley, aka Tommy Robinson, is a Zionist agent provocateur.
Yeah, he has a bad rep, and I don't think I like him. The interesting thing about him, like with all his hoo-ha about the immigrants coming in, he never really gets harmed or hurt, does he?
No, he doesn't, does he?
It's like Alex Jones. Alex Jones should be on the hit list for BLM. But it's well known where he lives, like, but he seems to not get petrol bombed or burned out of his house. So
he had Robinson on, hasn't he, on this show?
Yeah, he does have everyone on. He's anyone that'll bring views in. He'll have them on. So.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, that's very true. Yeah, well, he's suffering now as well. He's another one that lost his case, isn't
he? Yeah, but, like, you know what? He's not going to lose a huge amount, really. Like, considering how wealthy he is. Like, what's he lost? 43 million or something like that. So. It's only a drop in the ocean to what he's actually really worth, and a lot of stuff came out in that trial about, like, hidden bank accounts and this trail of bank accounts that can't be resolved. Like,
is that right?
Oh yeah. It's
I didn't follow it. I mean, I used to be. I don't mind saying it. For me, he was one of the people that did wake me up, as the saying goes, a bit. In terms of to things like 9/11, etc. But over the years, I sort of began to realise that he was certainly very right, wasn't he? Very far right, and and giving you about 90% of the truth,
Yeah, or
and
it appeared
misleading you with 10%.
he appeared to be far right. Anyway, we'll put it
Yeah,
that way.
yeah, he
I'm not
appeared to
sure.
be very far right. I think
Yeah.
I remember the day he had Trump on, and that was it. And he was calling him sir, and that was it. He lost it for me. That was it. I just knew that he was done.
Yeah.
He sold his soul out. It was like, nah, we know where you are now. You've shown your true colours now. You
Yeah,
really have.
I never really had the Trump derangement syndrome at all. I never got that. But um, I found it curious that Trump would end up on the Alex Jones show. I said, "Wow, how did that happen?" But then again, we have to take into consideration Jones has a couple of million followers, and Trump usually plays these media games, and he'll do anything for hits and views as well, So
Yeah, that's that conspiracy as well. Bill Hicks is Alex Jones. Have you heard that one, Jimmy?
Bill Hicks. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I've been exposed to a hell of a lot of conspiracy theories over the years, and
Yeah.
it's like everything, it's possible. I wouldn't rule it out, but I wouldn't know. I really wouldn't know.
Let's have a look what's been said in the chat. I'm just going to try it. Miss Blue Sky. Let's have a look at this. I can't believe what happened to Alex Belfield. I didn't like how he was when he wanted people to pay. I don't know how badly he stalked people, but this sentence seems too much, and the system used him. Yeah, I agree with that comment. Again, compared to what some people get, their sentences, they get much more lenient sentences. They've just made a real example of him, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I see Jimmy O has been asking the second time there about why do the elites worship Saturn? Isn't sort of like Saturn sort of related to the light bringer, which is which would be sort of like in connection with Lucifer.
Yeah, isn't it? It's a play on words, isn't it? Saturn, as well.
Part of it, but I'm not sure. Satan is. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Satan really doesn't. I thought Lucifer. I think the light bringer. In their religion, they believe it was Lucifer who sort of like taught mankind to about God and how he was a tyrant and how he was keeping information from them. So they sort of enlightened humanity and taught them how the way of the world really was. So that's how their belief system works. And I don't know. I certainly couldn't judge them on it. I don't know anybody who was an eyewitness to the events back then, so I'll have to reserve judgment on it all.
Yeah.
But I hope that answers your question. That's all I know about it, Jimmy. I'm not really an expert on the occult or any of those particular religions. I'm not even an expert on Catholicism or Christianity either, even though I have a closer connection to those. Like I was born a Catholic, so and you'd think I would know more about it, but I don't. So unfortunately, that's the way it is. I'm kind of like my religion is almost a little bit like my politics and non-existent.
Oh, this is interesting. What is he?
Hi, Tony. Rick Hayward in the house. How you so south?
John Smith. Maybe Belfield has left himself to be used to be made an example of what can happen to cyber stalkers. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, we have an interesting case going on over here in Ireland as well, too, regarding a chap called Enoch Burke. He'd be kind of like what I do have picked up about him is that he comes from a very, very evangelical Catholic family.
Yeah.
Now, and they're constantly in the media, this particular family. But anyway, this Enoch Burke, and that's a great name to have for your child, Enoch, But he took a stand in a school, and he sort of refused to use. A child was demanding that their pronoun be used, like they.
I
Right?
saw this story.
Did you see it? Like,
Yeah,
so basically he refused, and I sort of agree with him on his point. He refused to sort of like start teaching bad grammatical skills, like that you're not a day, that he's very, very, he
yeah,
seemed to be
correct. Yeah,
stringent on this day. So it all sort of like blew up anyway, and there was a complaint made to the school, and this chap, Enoch Burke, he ended up sort of like picking up a suspension from the school and asked not to come and teach. So he kept on coming to the school.
yeah.
So
And from what I understood, he actually came in and did a sit-down protest in a classroom, and then they came in and arrested him. Is that correct?
well, I think no, not really. It didn't work like that because then another court case ensued, right? So there was another court case, and then the court ordered him not to attend the school. So obviously there was an investigation pending in the school about about the case, So they were going to have their own internal. Like he would have been suspended, like probably on full pay. So like all he had to do was abide by the suspension, really, and take his case to the school board or wherever, however it is they conduct these matters, like follow the legal process. But so he was ordered by the court then to not attend to school and abide by the school's wishes, like so until their case was settled. So he refused to abide by the court's ruling, and he continued to go to the school. So he was found then in contempt of court, basically.
Yeah,
So he hasn't been sort of like put into prison because of his beliefs on the pronouns. It's more got to do with his contempt of court. But there's a huge argument going on between all the truthers and everything over here at the minute. It's kind of like a bit weird, like So it's a quite emotive topic, and it's kind of like the perfect topic to keep people engaged in these confusing times, So I don't know anything about the man. I really don't. I personally feel he's fighting the wrong battle. It's like he's actually fighting the courts now instead of like fighting his case in schools. And he's languishing in a prison cell over his contempt. Seems to me he'd be better off purging his contempt, get back out, and then follow up on the case in the schools. So I don't know what to make of it really. It's like I see this whole transgender thing as just a big no issue, and it's just more bullshit to keep the mindless masses occupied and jumping up and down and screaming about fucking much to do about nothing really. The trannies are coming. The trannies are coming. It's like fucking nuts.
I've got some coming back to the Marvel superhero. Yeah,
Yeah.
here we go. Look, I've got see that? Look, there we go. Sabre.
Okay, right.
That's
Show,
Sabre.
show, show us one more time. I see the Star of David there.
Yeah, there you go. Look, see it?
Oh yeah, arrow pointing down.
Yeah, right. And here, I'll
Yeah.
just read you what some of these people have said here. Sabri, naming your Israeli superhero after a massacre of 3,000 Palestinian and Lebanese citizens is a little on the nose, isn't it? And then Marvel announced that Israeli superhero Sabra will appear in its next Captain America movie. The superhero, who is often depicted wearing an Israeli flag costume, has a deeply racist, anti-Muslim origin story that dehumanizes Palestinians. Sabra's superpowers were created in order to serve the Mossad, the Israeli government's notorious surveillance agency. In real life, Mossad uses invasive surveillance technology to spy on Palestinians and has killed and admired Palestinian figures, like Palestinian writer Geshan Kanafani. I don't know if I said that right, actually. Geshan Kafani, something like that. I can't even bloody it. Sounds like Fanny to me, doesn't it?
That's what I was going to say. No, you've got a fanny. Fanny, that'll do. Yeah.
There are. That's a little bit more of a follow-up on that.
He does have a face a bit like a fanny, doesn't he?
He does. So yeah.
But
yeah.
a little unknown fact about our Israeli Mossad. They don't just spy on Israelis; they are spying on you and me. They're spying on the whole Western world. They have their dirty little mitts and fingers
In our
in
computers.
every single computer system in the world. And if you don't know, you've got to look up the Unit 8200, who are the control center of the whole goddamn operation. And they know exactly where you popped your last poop.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The whole world surveillance system is run through Israel with stolen American technology, basically.
Yes, and didn't it go into the Hewlett Packard or something like that, Jimmy? Am I right?
It's
Something.
everywhere. It's
Yeah.
Intel, into the Intel
Intel.
chips.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. They were creating the Intel chips there, and basically they've backdoored all the chips, so they don't even have to hack your computer anymore. They have the backdoor in. So I don't know if that problem is being fixed yet. We're still waiting to see what America is going to do in this war. Are they going to fight back against Israel? Let's hope so, because they're robbing them blind and selling them out to Russia and China. Hopefully people over there are starting to wake up a little bit and cop on to what's going on.
Back to just the chat, just briefly. This is what Webby said. Saturn is there you go. Saturn is Satan. Saturnalia, pagan and satanic. That's why they worship it. So that was his take on that one. Good evening. Oh, good evening, Kitty, as well. Chris, Mick Ramo, Chris Partridge. I heard an amazing story that before the present sun arrived in our solar system circa 10,000 years ago, Saturn used to be a star, which was the sun. It gave off a purple hue, aka the purple period. Oh, okay. Oh, and that's why purple is big in the Masonic lodges, isn't it? And stuff, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure, but I'm kind of familiar with what Chris is talking about. I think there was wasn't it the Thunderbolts done some excellent documentaries on what the solar system probably looked like. I'm not sure. Like, you see, the thing about it is, like, we have 3 suns in our solar system. Like, Jupiter is also a sun. People don't realize it, like, but it's actually a sun. It has a proton wind, just like our sun Sol. And I think also Saturn comes under the category of a sun as well. So technically speaking, we have 3 of them in our solar system.
Really? That's quite fascinating, actually.
Yeah.
I had no idea that.
Yeah, they found out there a good few years ago that, like, Jupiter, there was one of that that satellite that went out into deep space, and it's on its mission out into deep space. I can't remember the name of it at the moment.
If you believe in space, Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm not going to rub Jason's storyline.
No.
I'm just one of those gum beans who actually likes to believe all the crazy stuff that there might actually.
No, that's all right. There's always 2 sides, isn't there, man? There's always 2 sides.
Oh yeah. But anyway, it was discovered that, like, Jupiter was giving off a proton wind. Planets do not give off proton winds, and it's normally a characteristic that you'd find coming off a sun. So, interesting little tidbit.
Also, I heard here's a coming away from that, Jimmy. Some people are being demonetized for talking about the fact that we're going to have maybe food crisis because of the Ukraine conflict. Some channels are being demonetized because of it.
Well, and it's probably quite correct, because that's bullshit, and maybe they're right banning them. It is bullshit, it's nothing got to do with Ukraine.
No, I know that, but no, what they're using is that they're using that. I agree with you. I'm with you. I don't think it's anything to do with all people need to say it's only because they shut the whole world down for 2 years and printed so much money that's caused the problem. But it's nothing to do with that war. We know it isn't, or that conflict, should we even call it?
Yeah. It's so, like, let's blame Ukraine then. It's nothing got to do with the Russian fertilizer issue. And I was actually reading there today, like, Putin was taking a few swipes at the West, because Europe wants to unsanction the the fertilizer, but only for Europe. And Putin gave them a right good telling off today, and how sick he was about. What about the poor countries? So he's thinking about sending all the fertilizer that they've got in reserve out to the poorer countries for
Is that
nothing.
right?
Yeah, this is going on. There's a little bit of to and fro going on behind the scenes, and
You just
you know,
don't know how it's all being run, do you?
it's
It's because I've seen Putin in with WEF in the past, and you're
yeah.
thinking, well, is he just playing a part?
He's
You
playing a
know,
part. He's playing a part because I was listening to Alexander Mercouris talking earlier on about some speech that was going on at the SCO, which is the Shanghai sort of organization. It's a new organization springing up, like for all the Asian countries. And basically, what China and Russia want is like a new multipolar world order run under the UN. And
right?
who is it? Who's the other bunch of idiots that also want the world under a new world order under the UN? They'd be our globalist friends, Schwab and all
Yeah.
that lot. So it's becoming clearer to me that
And King Charlie,
King Charlie is right. Yeah, he's another one of those boys. So
he's been photographed with Schwab since '93 or something like that. So
I think we're getting a fairly clear picture about what's going on now. It's taken time for it to build up. It's impossible to say who's the good and who's the bad guy here. But I think we're getting the picture here that Putin is not our guy. I think he's Klaus's guy. That's what I'm thinking now, and I'm pretty sure the Democrats are Klaus's guys and gals as well too.
well, wasn't it? Who's his hero? Who's Klaus's hero? That trained him.
Oh,
Kissinger.
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 Yeah.
Now, yeah, wasn't it Kissinger that said
Yeah.
own both sides?
Yeah.
That's exactly what's probably going on, isn't it? That he's owning both sides. He's got his dirty little fingers in both, because isn't Putin part of the BRICS, the nation?
Yeah.
So therefore, he's are we going to have crypto that's backed by gold?
No.
No.
When a crypto comes in, it'll be done through the state via central banks, and they'll come down heavy on any other crypto outside of their system. I think so. That's how I see it playing out.
I just don't know how they're going to come down heavy on decentralized privacy crypto. I really don't, because that can so easily be hidden. That really can.
Yeah, but can you not hide it all you like though, and still you're left holding a bag of pebbles, that's you can't do anything with. That you can exchange with other people, but you can't really do anything with it.
The thing is, Jimmy, right? You've got a lot of money that has been invested by some big companies, right? And unless they suddenly go all at once, right, we're going to pull our money out of that particular privacy coin or that particular crypto, which is very unlikely, because they're going to suddenly maybe just, again, you pull your money out. What do you pull it out to? Do you then pull it out to gold? Do you then pull it out to hard currency?
But here's my thing, right, about the crypto. And I used to see it like the way you explained it to me there, right, that you have all this money invested into crypto, until you start thinking about, okay, so you've got all this fiat currency invested into it. It's actually worth nothing at face value, really, at the end of the day. So the only thing that's really going to have value in this new world that I see coming is like hard assets.
Yes, I agree. And I think if you're going to invest, you should have a mix of everything, a bit of, some metals, some gold, silver, and even food could become worth a lot of money in the future. It really could.
I think so. I think so. But I'm still thinking like, I mean, I was on a chat there the other night, and I think it was after the show Tuesday evening, and I swear to God, people are losing their marbles, like, and people that like, I thought I was a serious conspiracy nut. Like, well, you go to some of these channels, and people are just losing their minds over the craziest stuff. Like, there was one guy, he was talking about 5G and graphene oxide and all this activation stuff, and then I shifted the conversation over to the war, right? And he said, I don't believe there's anything going on in the war, but he's quite happy to believe that there's such a thing as 5G, right? And that it actually poses a risk to people and their health, and but yet he doesn't want to believe that there's a war going on. He says, no, I've seen pictures coming out of Ukraine. They're all partying over there. And he says, oh my God, man, these people are not on this fucking planet at all,
Yeah.
And
there's definitely a conflict going on. Isn't there? It's obvious there's a conflict going on, and but the thing is, I think what we don't realise is how big the country is. And it's like there could be a war. There could be a war going on down in London. I live up in Bedfordshire. I wouldn't probably know about it because it's 50 miles away.
I know. It's.
Is he in tonight?
I don't think so. I think he has an appointment with his Cardinals. I think they're having a party with a few altar boys.
Yeah, well, he has ordered all his money back, weirdly, hasn't he? He has ordered all assets to be returned back to the Vatican before the end of September.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard this, Jimmy. There's a lot of talk also about that on the internet, and again, I don't know what, but something to do with September 25th or something. That something's going to happen around.
24th.
Is that what you've heard?
Well, actually, I can qualify it with more than I've heard, because I do have something here. Just give me a moment anyway, because I didn't actually fire up the.
Well, go on, you have a look at that. I'm just going to interact with the chat here a bit, if you want to just do that. John Smith, if the electric universe theory is correct. Oh, here we go. If the electric universe theory is correct, then any large mass could potentially become a sun. There we go. That was a point to us earlier, I guess, that we were saying. Webster report is saying purple is part of the elite royalties. The Bible mentions kings putting prophets into purple and gold raiments to show authority. Yeah, I do. I heard all about the purple there. Brainwashing for the masses. We associate these things via various history, myth, and legend. Absolutely. Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. Who else is it here? Who we got? Oh yeah, about Monday. Here's Mia. They were going to close the food banks Monday for funeral. WTF? Depriving most in need. They got a backlash, so now opening so much for the pound for funeral could feed in shire. And have you heard? He's not paying, Jimmy. He's not paying any tax on his inheritance because it's a special clause.
I heard
you've got all these poor people who die, and they want to pass the money down to their siblings and stuff, and they have to pay tax on it. But she dies, and he inherits it, and he's not got to pay a penny.
Yeah, I wonder, has it got something to do with them being foreign nationals or something like that? I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Oh, it's just disgusting. It really is.
Yeah. And did I hear also that McDonald's are closing down for the day of the funeral? I said that'd be a great turnout. That'd be great for people.
That would be a good thing. Although there might be some in this channel that would say no, it's not actually. Let's have a look. What's Paula have to say here? Let's have a look. Know your place, recognised by colour of clothing forever, feathers, shells, tattoos, adornments, and gold, of course. It's all a show. We come with nothing. We leave same, in my honest opinion. Do your own thing. Well said. Absolutely. Well said. And Nubian seconding that. Wise words. And we've got media saying, King Charlie, get humpy with an intimate object, sad day for ink pens. Yeah, when he was hissing about the ink pens, wasn't he?
Oh, that's right. And then he got thick about forgetting that he wrote the wrong date down on the book he was
Yeah, he
signing.
wrote the wrong date.
He took a tizzy fit, didn't he? I should have saved that.
And,
But anyway,
yeah,
it wasn't
a
that
Lizzie
important.
fit.
Lizzie fit. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, he had a bit of a Lizzie fit, didn't he? Yeah. Yeah. Let's have a look back in the chat here. Anything going on?
Well, Webster is making an interesting point there on because it's private and not commercial. We're treated as debtors/shopkeepers. They pay inheritance. It's all commerce. So.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. 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 All we need is love, said Rick Mamo. I wish that was the truth. Tony said this: render unto Caesar what is Caesar's.
I think Caesar's empire is collapsing at the moment.
Well, every empire only lasts, what, 100 years, Jimmy, is it, they say?
Yes, 80 to 100 years, I believe, is rough ballpark. But although it's been collapsing every year for the last 10 years, so for the last 30 or 40 years, it's been collapsing every 10 years. So I think ever since they switched off the gold standard, they've been having problems. This is an ongoing
and John Smith, private trust is the reason Charlie Boy won't pay death duties. There you go.
Okay, right. Yeah, I've heard a lot about these trusts over the years in my adventures in studying common law and all that sort of like legal stuff. Like it's there seems to be something to these trusts. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
There you go. Not inheritance. It avoids tax. It's in private trust, so avoid death and gain tax. There you go. That's another one. Just confirming it. Yeah. What else you got then, Jimmy?
Well, wanted to jump over to this 24th thing, right? Because this 24th thing has come on my radar as well. But like, we'll address the thing on
I'd like to hear about that actually.
Yeah, we can address the thing on what all the conspiracy chatter is about first, right? So, if I play this little video here, this is a German guy, right? He's doesn't give his name here.
No, I did see this video, Jimmy, but I didn't, again, because it's German, I didn't know what was really going on.
A member to the German legislature declared that September 24, 2022 will be the day when everybody will remember exactly where he or she was. Yeah. So this is the...
Dieser 24. September 2022 wird uns allen als ein Tag im Gedächtnis bleiben, von dem wir später einmal sagen werden, ich weiß noch genau, wo ich war.
So he clearly says there, September 24, 2022. He's definitely saying it there, right? But what a lot of people are suggesting on the internet is that he misspoke and he actually meant 24th of February in regard to the start of the Ukraine war. Now, I would have thought that like that's a hell of a mistake to make, you know, like is it likely that this dude actually got his months so screwed up, you know? I don't know. You know, it's like I'll keep an open mind on it, like, but I follow a guy called Bo Polney from time. He's an evangelical Christian, right? Now he does a lot of work with the Bible. He not the Bible as such, but he studies the timelines in the Bible, you know, and he's got this uncanny ability to be able to make predictions of big stuff that's going to happen, and he usually nails these things to the day, right? and he predicts a lot. He made a prediction last year about September 24th of this year that there's going to be some massive, huge event that is going to be one of the craziest things that we've ever said. And it's in relation to the Jubilee. It's in relation to a 50-year, 70-year cycle. And he's talking about like the Queen's death was significant in this. Like he always relates her to being the harlot, the whore of Babylon or something like that, you know.
Okay.
But anyway, that's besides the point. He is saying September 24th, expect some crazy shit to happen. Like, you know, he didn't say specifically. He said we could be talking about like a complete crash of the markets. Like, I mean, he nailed the. Remember when the oil price went to -36? Was it last year?
Yeah.
And he predicted that to the day. To the day. I remember we made the prediction, and then the day arrived. Yeah. He's got this uncanny ability to predict bloody dates. So I'm not saying there's something going to happen on September 24th, but like when this guy calls in a date, it's probably a good idea just to pay attention to him, you know.
And Spanish says about, is it the Jewish year? Is it not Shemitah? Isn't it? Isn't it the end of Shemitah?
It's a Shemitah cycle, end of a Shemitah,
which is every
Shemitah.
7 years, from what I understand.
And then there's Rosh Hashanah was another thing. It's a Rosh Hashanah as well, whatever that is. Now, I don't know all these terms, but like Rosh Hashanah is another thing he was talking about. Like, and there's a very, very significant date.
James Owens, is that true? The Simpsons predict it. If so, please post it in the comments. We'd like. I mean, they're predicting everything, isn't it? And Paul is saying the 23rd is an equinox, or as well. So.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, there's always a date to be excited about, but the only reason I'm giving it any credence at all is because Bo Polney is mentioning that date, and he's the only one I would ever listen to who's going to predict dates, you know. So that's why I'm going to be watching it. So maybe if you
think there could be some, you know, some truth behind it.
Yeah. But there's something up. Like, did you see the? Hold on a second. I think I have a story here which might be sort of like a key indicator.
Good evening, Spanish Chicken. Thanks for ignoring me last night. I saw you in the Bat Boys chatting shit as usual, but you ignored my hello.
Where was that?
Oh, in Sheep Farm. They did a live broadcast last night.
Oh, right.
They had about 450 people watching, Jimmy. They are very popular.
Yeah. Really
popular. About 450 people watching them, just, you know, doing their thing. Just two brothers chatting. I think they're quite good. I like what they do. Go on, carry on, Jimmy. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking for a story here in the background. Yeah, here it is here. So this happened, I think, today. Basically, the FedEx core shares fell nearly 17% in the extended session on Thursday after a logistics company pulled its outlook for the year, called for significantly lower quarterly profit and lower revenue. 17%, like, you know, that's huge. You know, that's a huge drop, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been calling this that, like, we could be looking at something like maybe 20, 30, 40% correction on the markets, like very, very shortly.
All the big companies were down this week, weren't they?
Yeah,
Amazon, I think the Dow everyone. Intel.
The Dow dropped about 1,000 points there the other day. The whole thing was in the red, like, you know. So
yeah, that's what
this
I
could
heard.
Could be an early indicator that something's up, you know. So
right now, the crypto markets is also down. It's down 3.5%, which is quite big. Bitcoin just doesn't know what to do. It really doesn't. So yeah, all of the markets, Jimmy, are just playing, aren't they, at the moment?
I feel sorry for anybody who got into Bitcoin when it was 50, 60K. It was really too. It's like, you've
Yeah,
always got people who go buy in like at the highs, they must have got bloody hammered, so.
yeah. And I feel sorry for myself for not getting in it when it was 300.
Yeah, it's all right getting these coins and all like that, but you can't just sit on your laurels and expect that they're just going to go to the moon. You got to know when to sell the goddamn things as well.
You've got to know a bit about it. Yeah, you've
Yeah.
got to know about it.
But you got to understand trading in a sense. So, like, if you're going to get involved, you have to learn trading. Don't get involved in crypto unless you learn trading.
Yeah,
Learn how to get in.
there's
How to
so
get
much.
out.
But I think the fact is that the crypto is that, whether we like it or not, CBDC, right in the background, central digital bank currencies are being developed right now. Whether we like it or not, it's coming down the road like a slow train coming at the moment, but it's going to arrive. And if we don't all understand a little bit about how cryptocurrencies work, it's going to be a big shock for people. It really is.
Yeah, I don't think we can predict what's coming next. I know they have loads of plans.
Yeah, I know they're working on those. They want
like
all part of the control system again.
I would like to see. I would like to see my mum work with crypto. That would be good fun to watch her try to fumble through that lot. Bloody hell, I can't see that working. So I don't think they're going to be able to just throw this at people because, I mean, it's okay for younger people or people our age, who are a little bit tech savvy.
Jimmy, you talk about your nan, because like my mum, for example, she's 87, and in the lockdown, did you try and get her a phone to be able to communicate with her maybe a bit better on chat, face to face? Maybe she didn't want to see you. Maybe she was paranoid. I mean, my mum was paranoid. She didn't want us coming round or anything like that.
We were fine. Me and my mum didn't panic.
So you were one of the lucky ones. But what happened in that period was a lot of old people were bought these smartphones, and sort of had to catch up about like learning to. My mum can use WhatsApp app now at 87. Well,
very good, very good.
Not all of it completely. She can answer a call, and she can make a call. She's not very good at messaging and things like that, but she does very good. She does really well for her. And I think a lot of that has happened. And I don't think that the system really cares about the people that it's going to leave behind, does it? Let's be honest.
No. Do you know how long it took me to teach my mum how to use the Sky remote? I was at it for months.
I'm not surprised.
It's like, the poor dear, and I used to have to sort of bite my lip. Well, we have to go through this again, do we? Please. I'm not the most patient of teachers,
Yeah, Mia said this, interestingly, crypto needs internet and electric. Pull the plug, ? Gone, so keep spending cash only or barter. I completely agree with you, Mia, about that. But again, let's take that one point you made there. What's cash worth right now with inflation? As your £1,000 in the bank account each week is being deflated every day, isn't it? So it's going down, down, and down. So what's cash going to be worth? It's going to become like the Mylar Republic, is it? Is that what they used to call it, Jimmy?
Yeah. The Weimar Republic.
Or the Mylar, I don't know. Weimar Republic, that's it, yeah.
So I've been watching the euro dollar quite a bit, and we'll have a look and see what it's doing at the moment, just for the fun of it.
And whilst you're just doing that quickly, they're now trying to demonize gas as well, saying that gas gives you cancer.
Yeah, so look, there's the euro is just a little bit above the dollar. It's 0.0014 above the dollar. It's been hovering. It's actually
wow.
It actually hasn't gained very much. There's the last low point there. 1.0. I thought it went down to 9.6. Oh, do you know what? I probably have to zoom out a little bit further. Where was it? I thought it was. No, that's still down, kind of like on par. Like, there's the last low there, 1.002, So it's just a little bit below the last low, and it's still dropping. Like, it's still dropping. So that's one of my bellwethers. Look at it; it's gone from up here way back in 2021. Wow, it's dropped. Wow, it's dropped a lot.
Yeah.
It's dropped an awful lot, 50%, maybe more. It's never been that low ever, and this is the whole history of the euro dollar. Look at it; it's never been that low.
So what the
Never.
blue line is? What is?
I'm looking at the euro dollar pair. So
Okay.
this is the price. This is the price of the euro related to the dollar. Its high was up here in 2008, where it was worth $1.57. So how the mighty have fallen. Look,
And what's it worth now?
it's 0.9937. And it's actually dropped a bit while we're watching it there. So yeah, so that's one of the ones I'm watching. Once you see they're saying when you're seeing the euro fall below the dollar, that's it. Like we're heading into dodgy territory. That means that there's a lot of money leaving the euro and moving into the dollar for safety.
Right.
So, but it's been there for a few weeks now. It's been hovering around there. So maybe that's what's going to happen on the 24th. Maybe it's just going to crash down. Who knows? I don't know what to expect on the 24th. It could be just another poo-poo day, another day to have another pint and a smoke and watch the world go boom,
Yeah. Good point, Chris Partridge. Yeah. You can use cash every day, just don't use it to store your wealth.
Yeah, I think who's your one? What's your one that's doing that Cash Friday thing? The blondie chick that's oh God, what's her name?
The dragon woman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forget her name. Sorry. Yeah.
Catherine Austin Fitz.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Catherine Austin Fitz. Yeah.
Yeah.
The American lady.
Yeah. She actually lives in Holland now, I believe.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, she got out. She got out altogether. So they're doing a new thing. They're doing a new initiative at the moment, like in coordination. Do you remember back last year, this Monica Smith in Australia got arrested for her stance on the Jabberwockies?
Yeah.
And she got arrested and thrown in prison. So like Monica and her and a load of others, they're doing these initiatives now to get people off cash and ways of fighting back against the deep state. So it is what it is, So like so one of the initiatives was to use cash a lot more, and they put out different ideas every couple of days apparently about like this is what you should be doing, this is another thing you can be doing. So give them ideas to people of how to fight back against the big money guys. So and the system that they want to bring in. But I have to be honest with you, Robert. I don't know who to trust anymore with these. You got a lot of talking heads out there, like especially when it comes to the COOF and you name it. Like you name your conspiracy at the moment, and like you've got a selection of people who are all sort of like pro, against, and I don't know who to trust anymore. Like I was listening, like I'll tell you a good one. Dr. Bregan.
No, I don't know that one.
Dr. Peter Bregan.
Oh yes,
well,
yes, I've seen. Yeah, I do know Peter Bregan. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he was on with Pete Santilli there in the last couple of days, and they were talking about your man Desmet, Matthias Desmet, the Belgian guy who was on about this mass formation thing, and Peter's taken great offense to this Matthias Desmet, and his theories, and like about how he's trying to blame all these problems on us, the mere mortals, the small people. So, but on this interview with Pete Santilli, he started talking about this particular case. That this, the Matthias Desmet I'm talking about, the mass formation theory.
Explain it to everyone, just in case.
Oh, the mass formation is like where people there. It's like where the maddening crowds get together, like and they start turning on a portion of society, who don't want to go along with what the majority wants, so they start turning on them, like, and
Okay.
so you got kind of like a mass formation that forms.
A bit like what happened in the Divok period.
Or what happened in communist Russia, like,
Yeah.
or probably another good example would be what happened during the witch hunts. Maybe would be another thing, right? So, well, Dr. Peter Breggin turned around. He started talking about this particular case in Belgium, and it was a case of a mass murder, right? This guy who had killed up on sort of like 25 to 30 people, and he was working in a hospital, and he was killing these people with pillows. He was killing them like with injections of air and all sorts of weird methods of killing people, like, some of them quite painful. So, and like apparently this mass murder sort of went and sort of like told all to Matthias Desmet, right? Because Desmet is working in psychology and stuff like that. So now Peter Breggin has taken offense to the fact that, like, Desmet never reported him, right? He was aware that this mass murderer was on the loose, and he was still working in the hospitals, and he never said a thing. And he was also mentioning the fact that, like, this Desmet was also called, like, when eventually, like, this mass murder wasn't getting sort of like any pushback from Desmet, so he wants to be caught, basically, right? And this is the
Right.
case with a lot of mass murder. They want to be caught, right? He went to another psychologist, and that psychologist reported him. He got arrested then, and this Matthias Desmet was apparently called to his case as a witness,
Right.
So Peter Breggin sort of like is taking great, and I 100%, if this is true, like, and this should put a question mark on everybody's sort of like tongue about this Matthias Desmet and his mass formation bullshit, right? Because that's clearly, it's obviously bullshit, I think, to sell books, and maybe he's probably just another gatekeeper, right? So I just thought that was an interesting story, which I came across today. Jane Ruby posted it on her Telegram. It was an interview with Pete Santilli, and the doctor's name is Peter Breggin. So you might be able to find out if you're interested in finding it.
I follow Jane Ruby, I think. Isn't she the one? Yeah. Is she a doctor? Dr. Jane Ruby,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Dr. Jane Ruby,
Yeah, she seems quite genuine, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like I do get fed up with them all, because they're only these one story people. They're just covering one story. It's like coof. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Enough now, enough with your bullshit.
And it'd be good, Jimmy, if we also in our segment is try and like find a really good story. I think going forward, that I mean, we are a news channel. One of the things that really bugs me is that we don't, that all news that you ever see on the mainstream is always quite negative normally, and that maybe we can find a story about a little cuddly toy that got rescued, or a cuddly animal, or a cuddly child, or something like that, something really good to all make us feel good, maybe at the end of the show or something. Maybe you've got one of those stories hidden in your background there.
I have a troll from Lukashenko. If that's any good to you, I've got a good troll. If you want, like, and it's actually quite funny. If I can find the damn thing.
Well,
just give me a moment.
Do you want to have a quick? Should we have a quick, like 2-minute, like bit of music or something, just so I can go and make a cup of tea or something, or?
Sure, yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind.
We just put on a tune for 2 minutes so that everyone can just like go and make a cup of tea or something, shall we?
I'll leave you in charge of the music then, because I don't know where anything is in the.
Right, let me do that. Let me just go and find a bit of music, and then I'm going to go and make a cup of tea. Let's find some of the songs or whatever, wherever they are. I'm sure I've got them here. Where are they? Under banners, maybe. No.
I can't remember. I think was it Sean Hammer was on about the Doomy news last week. You know, so maybe you're right. Maybe we do need to have a little bit of balance and maybe do some kitten videos or sort of like cute doggy videos. I don't know. Yeah, well, I might just try to find some space in the weekly roundups just for a bit of light-hearted.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Well. Oh, here we go. So let's have a look. Tune number 2. Oh, I'm not going to play any of my bloody tunes. Sod that. No. I'm going to bore people with that. I'll save that for Wednesday. Oh, by the way, I am on Wednesday, everyone.
Cool.
I'll be doing a Wednesday health show. So let's just like put something on just quickly, and then we can always come back as well. All right.
It's the Jason Home Show on Raconteurs News. It's the Jason Home Show. You can share your views on the Jason Home Show. The Jason Home Show. The Jason Home Show on Raconteurs News. And here's your host, Mr. Jason Holmes, Esquire. Oh, yeah.
So I've just put the kettle on, everyone. Let's go back to the comments. I'm just going to have a cup of tea here. I hope everyone's enjoying the show tonight. Let's have a look. Okay. Yeah, so I gave you your dose of Jason there. I don't know if Jason's watching tonight. I hope he's all right tonight. For anyone that knows about Leeds, obviously, because not everyone's got Telegram, but apparently Leeds isn't in a good way. That's all I know. That's all I've heard, everyone. So yeah, let's have a look. Tony said all the networking truthers are effing grifters. I'm sick of these effers selling you everything from torches that doubles as effing survival kit and bone broth. I quite like that. That's very good, Tony. What the fuck is bone broth? I can tell you, I was talking about bone broth today, Tony. Bone broth is very good for you. It contains a lot of collagen and cartilage and things like that, which your bones do need. So there we go. It's very good for you. Or Jewish soup, or Jewish medicine, as they used to call it as well. Jewish penicillin, whatever. Lion's Share, Chris Partridge. Why would we be sick of me? I've never been on. There we go. Yeah, Lion's Share is true. And who wants to come on? You know, does anyone want to come on tonight and share their views? You know, this is all our shows, isn't there? All 32 of you watching. I did notice, Jimmy, we got up to about 36 tonight. So good crowd in tonight. Thanks for staying with us. I know it's not the lovely Jason, but you know, us two Herberts are holding the fort, and we're just trying to take it maybe in a slightly different direction to Jason, or but this is your show as well. Anyone who wants to ever come on, I'm sure you'd agree, Jimmy, is always going to be welcome to come on. So,
but anyway, what do you think? Do you want a bit of light-hearted trolliness for a moment?
Definitely. Can I just finish? Hang on a second. Let me just sort my tea. Let me sort my tea.
All right, he's sorting his tea out. I thought he would have done it by now, but anyway, there you go. We'll have to get Super Leeds from New Being. Yeah, hopefully Super is doing okay. Haven't heard much now today, so You'll have to
I
wait
just
till
reminded them,
later in
Jimmy,
the day.
about what Jason wrote, that he's not in a good way, apparently. So
It's
if
sad,
Super
isn't
Leeds
it?
is watching or listening somehow, you know, we wish him all the best. We really
Send
do.
good vibes. Send good vibes. You know,
Yeah, we're
and
all sending
let
in
them know
love.
you're thinking.
Everyone sending
Yeah.
positive vibes, you know. Nubin LS, do they use cashware? I don't know what that means. So, or LS, line share. Nubin, it's gone. Oh, okay. So this is what line share. Nubin, if it's gone, then come to the UK. Loads of it here. Because Nubin is in what country, Jimmy?
Are we allowed to say? I think it's the place. I'll tell you what. It's the place where they're all far right now. Where New Being
Is it
is from.
Sweden?
Yeah, from the land of the far righters.
I don't know. But I know one of the countries is almost cashless now, isn't it? And so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people would disagree, but I don't know. Look, we're all nearly virtually cashless these days. Like, me included. Like, you know, I'm a devil for swiping. You know, I'll just tend to swipe. It's too easy. It's too easy, you know. And don't want to
Yeah, I
mess
know.
around with
I know.
cash sometimes. It's not that I don't want to. It's like you got to go get it, and you know.
Come on, then, give us your story, then, Jimmy.
Oh yeah. And one of the things I must remind you of, like one of the quirks of my sound setup is when I'm playing a video, if you speak, you'll probably hear yourself coming back at you, right? So I do have to turn something on and off here, usually at the end of a video. So just so that you're aware that like I've got a quirky setup here. So
Okay.
So this is Lukashenko. He's the president of Belarus, and he has a message for us all over here.
Хорошая, Александр. Хорошая. Не дадим, Семенович, Европе замерзнуть. Поможем нашим братьям. Может, и они когда-то нам помогут.
Саш, вы думаете обо всех, и о Европе, и о всей планете.
Ну а как? Мы же центр Европы. Хвастаемся этим.
Будем работать.
Хорошие дровишки.
Елка, она такая тягучая.
Ну, слушай, Европе не выбирать сейчас. Елка, березка. Ну, главное, чтобы тепло было.
Да. Жар она дает.
Надо подумать, Семенович, как там, чтобы крестьяне, рабочие получили, а не богачи. И главное, чтобы в Польше Дуда и Моровецкий не замерзли.
Замерзли?
Да, ну что ж.
Ну, это ж наши соседи.
Да. Может, одумаются.
So that's a troll anyway from the president of Belarus. It's like they're just having a lark there. You know, I think they've been taking lessons from Donald Trump at times, you know. But
I love you and that, don't you, Jimmy?
Yeah, but come here. One of the things that struck me about that, they referred to the wood that they were chopping as pine. That doesn't look like pine to me, you know. It's that looks more like a hardwood, more like ash.
I thought ash.
Yeah, and the guy on the left, I can't remember what his name was. Was it Timerson or Teterin? He didn't seem to be having much success with the chopping. You know, did you see how many chops and swipes he had to take at that piece of a log to get it even started? You know,
I don't think he's used to chopping, is he?
Lukashenko was like, whoop, boom, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's how a man chops. That's how a man chops." He's clearly chopped a few heads off in his day. That's the ultimate troll, though, you know. But you were chatting about gas there, right? And one of the things I've been noticing for the last 3 weeks over here is that I can hardly get gas. I got lucky yesterday. I managed to find a cylinder of gas for doing cooking at home and stuff like that. Like, but my usual supplier, it's been 3 weeks now since I've had a bit of gas from them. It's unreal. It's getting very, very hard to get. I don't know what it's like in the rest of the country. I must do a Google search and see if anybody else is.
Jimmy, whilst you're doing that, what do you have? What sort like are you isolated then, and you have one of these big tanks that you have to fill up?
Yeah, I'll usually get like a cylinder of gas. You know, a cylinder of gas like would keep my cooker going for
Like the Cala, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Color, exactly. So
Cala
that would
gas.
keep me going.
Is it
for about, like,
LPG?
yeah.
Yeah.
And a cylinder of that would keep me going for about 5 months. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend the next few weeks getting about like 4 or 5 cylinders, just enough to last for about 2 years. I think that's what I'm going to do. To hell with it, like, because
Really?
yeah. Well, I mean, like, we haven't even hit winter now, and already it seems to be hard to get it. Like, you know, so over the coming weeks now, I'm going to be I'll invest in about 3 or 4 cylinders just to have them spare. You know, no harm. Like it'd be difficult, like living on cold tins of beans for the coming years. No, I can't do that. You know.
So you've not got a one of these setups where you know you've got one of what were those ovens called? You know that heat the house as well as and they run.
Right, it's like a super Sir or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. You haven't got one of those then?
No. I do have a pot-bellied stove, but that's not really much use for cooking with or for baking with. You know, you kind of like kind of limited with what I can do with my pot-bellied stove.
Yeah. So you can run it on logs and stuff like that. You can burn logs in it.
Exactly. Yeah. It should do. It should do for this year, next year. It depends how difficult. Maybe you're even going to start. But then again, like we got with our friends in Belarus, Lukashenko will probably send me over a trailer of logs. No hassle. We trust our Russian buddies, don't we?
You know, it's funny actually. You know, we were talking about Putin earlier, and yet he's still all going for the all this digital ID shit as well, isn't he? You know, that's not being talked about. You know, he might be against all the WEF, but he's also doing the whole digital ID stuff, and he's been encouraging people to have their spears in their arms, doesn't he, as well?
Well, I'm not sure. There's no mandates over there, and you have to bear in mind also the Russians done a different version of the health intervention, right? We'll put it that way. We're just gonna have to be very, very careful with what we say.
Yeah.
So we'll just say
thank you, Ken. Arga. Yeah, Naga. Yeah.
So anyway, the Russians took the traditional approach to making a walkie, right? And they went for the live viral version, right? So I can't knock them for what they've done. Like, you know, they seem to have done everything right, you know, whereas everybody in the West and in China, they all went for the mRNA versions. The Russians went for the traditional sort of approach. So I don't know. I don't think they're going to fare out so badly, you know.
No, maybe not.
Did you also see where all the mandates have been dropped in New Zealand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jacindy
with the big dick Ardern, she's sort of like backing down by the looks of it. I'll never forget that video of her, like, he or whatever it is.
When she's walking along and you see it,
the big thing up and down underneath the frock. It's like, what the fuck? He's got an anaconda down there.
A bit like Obama's Mrs. A, when she was dancing on TV.
Yeah. Oh, she's got the biggest anaconda of them all. She's not called Big Mike for nothing. But I keep out another one that I remember. Remember that, like, that one where they're out paddling in their canoe, you know, and you got Obama behind, and he's really skinny, like, and he's paddling away, and then you got Big Mike in the front, and a chest, he's out like that, big, huge, giant arms, like, monster arms, like, he looks like he'd paddled the Titanic on his own,
Yeah. A Spanish chicken, Michael the Schlong.
Yeah, Spanish is saying they're Sputnik. Yeah, it was the Sputnik. I think it was a live. I think it was a live viral version that they used there. So,
Was it?
Yeah, so I believe. Yeah, a traditional jab.
And what's this saying? All forms of ID is food for thought. We're born, we die. During that time, we will infinite. Then all forms of ID, drive, lick, passport, etc. They expire. They are not examples of our IDs. Comments. Yeah, so I don't know. What's going to happen? There's so many things dodgy going on right now, isn't there? This 24th thing as well. Do you think something really is going to happen, Jimmy?
I don't care whether it does or not. As far as I'm concerned, something has already happened.
What about the meteorite the other night?
Seen that? Yeah.
That was caught on camera, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't.
That was a bit mad. That was like the one that went off in Russia, wasn't it? Do you remember that one that went off that was in Russia a few years ago? I think it was.
Yeah, but that one came through. That one came through the atmosphere, and
that's right.
That one just skimmed the. That one was just skimming the.
And it damaged a lot of buildings, didn't it? And etc.
Yeah. That's actually quite spectacular. There's some really good videos of that, like on the YouTube, if anybody wants to see it. I can't remember what the name of it was, like, but big.
That was a bit mad. That meteorite or whatever it was, just in Scotland, I think it was, wasn't it? It was filmed up in Scotland.
Scotland, yeah, South Scotland and across the north of England, I believe, and it probably went across. Actually, I'm not sure if it went across Northern Ireland. I didn't hear. So
look, it was aiming at the leader. I know they love her, don't they?
And come here, there was another interesting story as well too, coming out of Denmark at the moment. Danes under 50 will only be allowed to receive the prods if they're high risk of becoming severely something from the plague. So this is on the foot of a few months back. Do you remember that they removed the mandates for children?
Yes.
They said no more mandatory anything, like, in fact, no more prods full stop for children. So now anyone under 50 is not to get these things. So what are they saying? It's only for those who have serious potential problems, like if they caught the plague. So that's not much of an endorsement for the Wockies at all, in my opinion. Like, that's I have to say, like, the Danes are really far ahead on this, and even though they did want to implement the jab passports and all that, but the fact that they're well ahead of everybody else in dropping the mandates, especially for children, which is a good thing, and now for people under 50, that says a lot. They're obviously going to start to try to save what's left of their population. So I see it as positive.
Yeah. Also, I saw the news. There's a lot of insurance companies now, Jimmy, reporting in America about how deaths are up, and unexplained deaths are up like 40% apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting a bit like as if there was a war, that's happened, that's up, that the insurance companies are now reporting. So it's not looking good, really, is it?
No. I had that report to do, and to be honest, I've been putting it off because I wasn't sure that I'd be able do it justice. Like,
Yeah.
let's see, I might give it a go, Chair. See, this was a report from someone called the Ethical Skeptic, and the title was "Houston, that we have a problem." Like, you know, so basically, what they've done is they've taken all the data from the CDC, and they've collated it all into a report, a very, very long. It's almost reads like a scientific paper, and it is a scientific paper,
Yeah.
basically. So you
I
goes on
think
here.
I saw this paper, Jimmy. I think I've seen
Have you
it.
seen this, right? So to give people an idea of like how they were putting the data together here, I was just say the series of charts in Exhibit A to the right, all these charts here constitute a set of quick charts called variation against trend, or VAT charts. And he maintains a database and monitor each week along with other factors such as reporting lag, pull forward effect, etc. So obviously the pull forward, if I sort of like increase the size of this, it might be easier for you to read as well too. So pull forward effect. That's obviously like if they change something in the database that like they might pull it forward maybe. So he began to notice a potential problem beginning to coalesce in regard to many of these depicted trend lines in late 2021 and into early 2022. However, before anything statistical significant could be reported, the data needed sufficient time for the tail of statistical deaths from the deadly Delta variant to clear from the weekly MMWR reporting data. This process was delayed as well by the CDC's system upgrade, which began on June 3rd, 2022, and still has not been fully completed. So there's something going on with the CDC database, and it's not been sort of like back online properly since. So as of publishing of this article, 9,290 death records posted in the June 2nd MMWR update showed as redacted 4 weeks later, and still remain missing from data. Another 13,245 deaths were recategorized by the CDC from primarily cancer and heart death to other codes such as Alzheimer's, kidneys, or respiratory diseases, as can be seen on the part inside the chart. So basically, I'm going to skip through all this because it's a long, long document, right?
Yeah.
So the charts of particular concern I've highlighted with a yellow background. There's no point. I'm not good. There's no point going through it, like, you know. But I wanted to highlight this section here. Highlighted listed below. These include charts featuring stark post MMWR week 14 2021 rises in mortality. Specifically, are excess non-COOF natural causes. We've got a 5 plus sigma. Cancer and lymphomas, a 9 plus sigma. Other respiratory conditions, a 2 sigma events. Nephritis, whatever that is, nephrotic syndrome, a 4 sigma, septicemia, 2 sigma, heart disease and ailments, 2 sigma, and all other ICD-10 track natural cause deaths, 4 sigma. So what's a 4 sigma? Well, basically, I had to go look it up. I had an idea it was something got to do with probability, but so probability is measured. It's like it's sigma means say something was 6 sigma, which means 6 standard deviations away from the mean of probability distribution. So it's a measure of probability. So a 1 sigma event would be a 2 to 1 odds of happening, right? Down
I
there.
see, right.
So a 2
So
sigma.
it's about the odds.
Yeah. A 2 sigma. I'll try and increase this so you can actually see it as well too. It can be difficult if you can't see it.
Wow. So a 4. Wow.
4 sigma, 16,000 to 1 odds of happening, right? 5 sigma, 1,700,000 to 1. 6 sigma, 500 million to 1. So go back to here now, right? What was 9 plus sigma? Cancer and lymphomas, 9 plus sigma. Where does 9 plus sigma go? You know, that doesn't put us on the
That's off the scale.
9 is not on this chart here. It only goes to 6, which is 500 million to 1. So a 9 must be double that, like probably more, because this is exponential. Like you see, it's gone from 2 to 21 to 370 to 16,000.
Yeah, because it just squares, doesn't it, almost?
Yeah. It's weird. So what the hell is a 9 sigma? I might actually try to figure it out at some stage, but there's probably a better table out there. Like, well, I will continue on, right? So. down at the bottom, right? If I can remember correctly, I should have done. Let's see where we go here. Finally, we end with the most important chart of all, the chart which indicates deaths which are not from accidents, suicide, addiction, assault, abuse, despair, disruption, nor COOF. The excess non-COOF natural cause mortality chart, which we began monitoring in May 29, 2021, which I called then the "what the hell is this chart?" Right? As one can see, we have lost 355,000 younger Americans to something besides COOF, a non-natural death. During the period from 3rd of April 2021 to 20th of August 2022, the current rate of mortality in this ICD categorization is around 5,000 to 7,900 per week. The database shows a most recent 5-weekly average of 7,880 deaths, subject to lag, of course, which exceeds most weeks of the pandemic itself, save for absolute peak periods. So by now, if all these mortality excesses were indeed a holdover from COOF itself, they should have already begun to tail off. Unfortunately, they are not tailing off, and in many cases, they are still increasing. So that's like, like obviously, like you see where I'm going. Like I'll do this again, like at another time when I've got a better chance to dissect that article, because
Yeah.
it's very, very complex. I was dreading actually even touching on it at all, right? Because it's so complex, and I'm not that experienced of explaining like a paper that is so technical here on a radio show. Like I don't know how to do that basically. Like without
Jimmy, I've just looked up 9 sigma on Google, right? And it says here 9 sigma would be correct. Ready for this? 99.99999999999999%, and then in brackets says can't be bothered to calculate, so implies a very rare event.
Holy crap. So the numbers that they're getting in the cancers are just cancers and lymphomas. What's a lymphoma, Robert?
Well, it's your lymph disease, isn't it? So a lymphoma is again another type of cancer, but it's in your lymph glands.
Right.
I also saw on the arm spears that a report that came out that those who'd had 2 arm spears, 3 arm spears, and 4 arm spears, the death rate went like this. So 1 arm spear was here, 2 was here, 3 was here, and 4 was here. So you were more likely with 4 arm spears to be dying, and those who'd had none was completely at the bottom.
Yeah.
Of any type of cause of mortality, any type. I saw one of those reports out as well. So
yeah, there's a few of these reports. I'm waiting on the ethical skeptic, because that's a part 1 of 3 edition, because I'm waiting for part 2 to come out. That's why I've still got it open, and he's got more data on the way, but he's obviously, I'm going to be keeping an eye, because I like the way he done that report. It's like, it's seriously detailed. He takes a lot of time to explain the issues, the problems, how he was approaching the problems, how he was categorizing the data, how he had it all lumped up into individual databases and sort of like corrected. And he's even following up on the original CDC website, looking for changes. So that's serious work that he's doing there. I can't knock it,
yeah.
The amount of work that's gone into putting those charts together, that has to be taken seriously, because that's more than what the Jane Rubies and all them are doing, like just going talking to doctors and the likes, they actually doing some real number crunching. So
Yeah.
I'm taking that seriously. That's if anybody wants to go and read that article, by the way, you can. I'll just give you the headline of it.
Or put it in can you copy it and put it in the chat, Jimmy?
I could do, and it's a little bit of a dry read now, folks, So, but
but anyone who might be interested in it,
Yeah. it's quite an interesting. It's very very technical, and I had to read it 3 times at least just to get it into my head, because it was so complex, But I have that with scientific papers, though, Rob. I can read a scientific paper and then I'll have to go back on it again, and maybe sometimes a third time, just to, especially when they get very very technical, like with scientific terms, and some of them can be quite complicated and
Yeah.
and long-winded. Long-winded would be another way of describing some of them,
Just reading something here about the sentences. We were talking, I don't know if at the beginning of the show, about Alex Belfield. I thought his sentence was a bit harsh. He's found guilty on 7 counts. That's 7 people. The maximum sentence was increased in 2019 from 5 to 10 years until 2015. Average sentence for one A1 count severely coding was 15 months. He was found guilty of 7 by a jury, but Jeremy Vine was the less severe of them all. So maybe that's why his sentencing was so severe. That was just at the beginning of it. Anyone who didn't catch the beginning of the show, we were talking about Alex Belfield and about his sentencing. If you don't know who he is, I'm sure you'll know who he is by if you start looking him up.
Yeah, I'll just rewind. If you've missed the beginning of the show, go back to the beginning. Robert gave a really, really good introduction as to who he, because I now know everything about him. I'd gone from knowing zilch to everything. So.
And anything else on your radar, Jimmy?
A ship pile of stuff, Robert. But without bringing the whole shop down into negativity, I guess you probably heard. Did you hear the other night that there was an attempt on Putin's life?
No.
Did you not? Yeah, it was an attempt on Mr. Putin's life there the other night. Let's see if I can remember what. I think it was the night before last. Let's see if I can get it up here. Assassinations, yeah. Putin's limo allegedly hit with an attack as multiple guards vanished. So Vladimir Putin's car was attacked in what may have been an assassination attempt amid the Russian-Ukraine war, according to an unconfirmed claim. His limousine was hit in a loud bang on its left front wheel, followed by heavy smoke. It is alleged the car drove to safety with Putin unharmed, but there have been multiple arrests and his security service, while other bodyguards have vanished amid claims that secret information about the 69-year-old ruler's movements was compromised, says General SVR Telegram channel. Now, that was Putin's attempt. Now, also, and I've put this under assassination as well too, but I don't believe, it's hard to know. Ukraine's president also, Zelensky, he was in a car accident as well too the other night in Kiev. So, and let's see, Ukraine's president press secretary says that the car collided with a car of the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, and his escort cars in Kiev. According to him, medics accompanying the head of state provided the driver with Lekovika emergency assistance and passed the ambulance. The president was examined by a doctor. No serious damage was detected. All circumstances of the accidents will be investigated by law, and I'm sure he'll get a fair trial and then shot. So, yeah, lots of drama going on at the moment with car accidents and presidents of particular countries. I thought the Putin one now unconfirmed, but it was being picked up and reported by a lot of news services. I just pulled that quickly earlier on from my Telegram page, but it was reported on multiple news sources. So I'm putting it down as actually real, because that report I took a copy of from. I said it was unconfirmed, but it is confirmed now at this stage. And Zelensky, I don't know what was going on there. That could have been just an out of the blue crash, but it is ironic that there was 2 car crashes involving 2 world leaders in a bit of a struggle for a certain region of the world right now. So I just thought of a curious coincidence,
Yeah, I don't. Again, you don't know if it's just all smoke and mirrors and drama. I mean, he is an actor, isn't he, Zelensky?
Yeah, but
And
there's
every
no
time,
doubt.
Jimmy, every time I look at Putin, I think, is that the same man that I used to see pictures of?
Yeah, he's getting old now. He's what?
I mean,
He's
he may have had some plastic surgery as well, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know. I know he's getting old looking. You can see he's getting old looking. So it's the only thing I see different about him. Like he's putting on he's getting a little bit of a watery look. He's puffing out a little bit. Years ago, like he was a lot fitter, a lot leaner is the word I'm looking for. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
you
Let's
know,
just go to the Jimmy said, did anyone see the Anne Hesh video? Yeah, I mean that was quite a few weeks ago, wasn't it? And she was definitely alive when she
oh yeah,
she was in a bag, a zip bag, wasn't she? And she literally came out like she was coming out of out of a grave and lifted
there
up.
was,
Clearly looked burnt and everything. But she definitely wasn't dead, was she? She definitely wasn't
was
dead.
real, wasn't it? That was actually real. I've come to the conclusion that video was real. There was a lot of rumors that it was
Do you
fake.
know what she was working on as well, Jimmy?
There was a film about like child abuse, wasn't it? Or
Correct.
was it child abuse or was it like child trafficking?
Child trafficking. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very
Yeah.
strange story.
And
That, like,
apparently, just before she that accident happened, she went into a florist, wasn't it, or something? No, a hat shop, I believe it was. And the guy who served her said she was all pretty compos mentis. She was normal. She didn't appear drunk or anything. And there's strong rumours that maybe the car was taken over, remote controlly by remote control. Who knows?
yeah, the first time that happened, like because there was that case there during the 2020 American election where that like intern for some politician, his daughter's boyfriend car looked like it was taken out in an explosion. And there was a lot of talk about like whether the car was taken over or whether it was taken out by a missile from a drone or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of accidents with cars, these modern cars, how they can be hijacked. Actually, I've got a good story about cars. I have a good story about cars. If just to get away.
Is it the Tesla one with the thingy on the back, with the with the petrol charger?
No. This is even better. We have Tesla owner says he's locked out after battery died. Replacement cost 26,000. Right. So Mario Zelaya posted
Oh, I
a video
saw this. Yeah.
saying his piece of trash Model S died and that the car is locked, preventing him from being able to get inside. The caption of the video reads, 26K for a new battery, locked out of car, recalls are needed. He said he purchased the car in 2013, but said models from that year and 2014 have issues with fluid from the air conditioning system leaking into the battery. I got Transport Canada involved and they actually did an investigation on the car. Not only did they do an investigation on the car, they're going to be doing one that Tesla doesn't realize is coming up. So, but anyway, I don't know what to make of this particular story because down here at the end, he says in another video he posted during the week, Zelaya said he sold the car and that someone was going to pick it up from his driveway. The purported buyer is then seen taking the car apart from the front bumper and then charging it. So, but I thought the battery was fake. So I don't know what to make of this story. But the fact that I kind of do believe it. I kind of do believe it because these expensive batteries are like they seem to be a thing. Like it's like 26K for a battery. I think that's about the right price. That's what's been quoted on it by a lot of people for replacement battery for a Tesla. And they seem to be sort of like dying a sad death really, really quickly. It doesn't seem to me to be a really good investment. you know, like gone are the days where you got the old reliable, just fill it up and it goes, you know. And if you have a problem, just push start it, you know. That's how we used to do it years ago, you know. You make sure, like, if you had a dodgy car, you parked it at the top of the hill. And if the battery went dead, at least you could bump start it on the way down, you know.
Well, it's like in California now. They're queuing for hours, and they're telling people, "Can you not charge your Tesla because we've got a shortage of electricity." So on one hand, they're encouraging everyone
I know, yeah.
to buy electric vehicles, and on the other hand, then they're saying, "Oh, can you not charge them, please, because we've got a shortage of electricity." And how does that electricity generated, Jimmy?
Don't they have little hamsters running around, little one of those Mondays, like, going, you know? They got I don't know, windmills,
Windmills.
windmills.
Let me
Crazy.
share something with you. Hang on. Let me just share something with you. I've got something here. Where is it? Chrome tab. There we go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
People are getting sick of breaking down, and so they're now putting generators on the back of their Teslas that are powered by good old-fashioned petrol.
I've actually, this is not the first time that I've actually seen this, because I've seen several people doing this, you know, and I've seen prep kits, people showing their prep kits for when they get stuck, like, you know, if they're going on long journeys. So they'll have their canister of fuel, and they'll have their recharger in the boot. It's like crazy, you know. You should have just your luggage with you, you know, but now you've got to bring a bloody charger and an extra jerry can, like, you know. So
where is the world going to? Where is the world going to, man?
Yeah. I often wondered, though, do they have some secret technology which they're about ready to bring out and unveil to the public? Because clearly,
a British company has also invented some carbon neutral fuel. I saw it the other day on Max Egan's show, and I'll try and bring it along. I can't find it right now, but yeah, some carbon neutral fuel, and literally it makes fuel from carbon, and it's as cheap as chips apparently. And like they're trying to make it all carbon neutral. Oh well, I mean, I don't know if Chris Partridge is. I don't know if that's it. He's saying maybe fusion power plants. I don't know if that's it, but yeah,
they've been trying for a long time with the fusion, and there seems to be some, like, they've got
the cold fusion as well.
Cold fusion, yeah, fusion. Like, it does seem to be. They just don't have anything tangible just yet. Like, you know, it's really. I think there's a working model in California at the moment, and they were testing it, like, just on a small scale there recently. It's really only for heating water at the moment, like, you know, but it does seem like it's feasible, but as you know, it needs more study. Like a lot of things, it needs more study. Like terrain theory versus the other theory, still needs more study. Like, I'd like to see more studies done on it. Like,
thank you, Spanish, telling everyone to hit the like.
Like, share, subscribe.
You love that, Jimmy. Go on, say the G word, Jimmy. Go on.
Bing.
Guys.
Guys.
You love a bit of guys.
I do, guys and gals. Come on, I don't give a fuck. No.
So yeah, and apparently by 2025 you can't get a loan out on a petrol or diesel vehicle.
There'll be a huge black market when that happens, you know. God knows what the world will look like by then, you know. It's like it'll be like Mad Max, you know.
I know. I just don't know where we're going to be by 2025. You know.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder where we're going to be tomorrow, even, like, the way it's going, like. But sure, you know, it is like one of the things I learned the other night from that chat, like it's a local Irish Telegram group, and they were going nuts in there, like, and some lassie, she chimed in then, asking me a question about it, because I apparently seem to know a bit what was going on between Azerbaijan and Armenia, like, and she said, it's the end of the world, hasn't anybody looking at it? They've killed Americans and bloody, 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 there's going to be World War III, and it's just, look, lassie, look, calm down, calm down. It's like, there was a ceasefire there now. It's not the first time this has happened, It's not a time to be panicking and like all this hyperventilating over something which might or might not happen. Did you not realize that we've been at war for the last 2 years already? So it's hardly likely to get much fucking worse. Like, so just calm down. Like, people are losing their minds about fucking crap that just it's no point losing their mind about. It's I'm more concerned about Ukraine, but even at that, I'm not over concerned. It's like, it's out of our hands. No point worrying about it.
Yeah, as we're coming to the end of our 2 hours of boring people to death, Jimmy, again, I would just say, everyone, go for a walk in the park, go listen to some lovely music, go and climb a tree, go hug a tree, but stop thinking about everything that you have no control over, and go and just free your mind from it all. Have a break from it all. I know we've been sitting here and talking about stuff that's going on in the world, but what do they say? Don't absorb it, observe it.
But this is what I like about this channel here. There's nobody hyperventilating in our chat box here. Nobody hyperventilating here. Like, some of these channels are just nuts, man. I think the best of it, stay away from chat groups where they're going nuts and tearing their hair out, and they're still panicking about that.
Yeah. And talking of talking of the arms spears, I noticed that Tedros has said we're almost at the finishing line. Did you see that?
I think I heard something about that, like, but he's from the WHO, and I don't listen to anything they say. It's like,
and he makes me laugh. Someone asked him, "Have you had the arm spears?" And he said,
That's right.
And he said, "No, because I'm making a political point because my fellow Africans haven't had access to it."
That should tell you everything that you need. I remember I was watching that. That was brilliant. Like, so, it's not like they haven't told the people. It's like, so I have no sympathy. If anybody losing their minds right now and says, I can't be dealing with them, man.
Take a leaf out of Paula's book. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, everybody here in the chat is chilled, and that's great. That's one of the refreshing things about calling in here like a couple of times a week, so it's nobody hyperventilating. I like that, I have respect for everybody here.
Let's just ask the chat, what do you do to chill? What do you do? Like, here we go, Kendo today, just arrived today, Pink Floyd, Animals Remix 2018 on heavy grade vinyl. Oh, I love a bit of vinyl. Ken, look, let me just turn you down there. There we go. Look, I've got my turn. Now, that's not a Technics. It's a copy. It's a Audio Technica. And I've got some nice 40-year-old Tannoy M20 Golds that I like to listen to my music with. And I love a bit of vinyl. I really do, and that's how I chill out too as well. I love vinyl, and I love that new heavy grade vinyl they're bringing out as well now, because when they're remixing, like he just said, with Pink Floyd and stuff. What's the
heavy grade vinyl? Explain.
It's just a heavier grade of vinyl that they manufacture it, and it does improve the sound. It really does.
Really?
Yeah. But you do have to. I don't know if I've got an example of one. Let me have a look. See if I can quickly grab one in the cupboard here.
There you go. You learn so much here on this in this chat sometimes. Heavy grade vinyl. I thought there was just one type of vinyl, but I know there was. I know there's a different type of records that you can get, like, which are just for press. They're used for pressing records, and I can't remember what the hell they're called. Like they're not good for long-term use, so they're not really meant for. They're a lot cheaper, like, but they're not meant for playing at home because they wear out quite easily. So I can't remember what they were called. Like, perhaps somebody can help me there in the chat box. But I love my vinyl as well too. A shit pile of records, but there's no Pink Floyd in it. It's all sort of like techno and happy hardcore. And
I can't find. I can't quickly grab some of the heavier vinyl, but I'm just out of interest because Ken was talking about that. I wanted to show him this. This was a CD special disc, a 6-disc collector's box set. This one, look.
that's nice.
The old triangles in full effect there.
That's satanic symbology. That is
lovely bit of symbology there. And look at these crazy things that came with it. Look a nice hippie scarf.
Oh, I thought you were going to show us the gimp suit there. That was
the old gimp suit. And look at this. Look at this. Look at these.
Yeah, Tony, I love my vinyl too, Tony. But the thing I hate about vinyl is when it comes time to wash them.
Look at those. Look.
What is that?
They're like marbles.
Marbles. Wow.
Yeah. And then you get some placemats as well. Not that you're ever going to use them or anything like that.
No.
And then of course you just get like great. I love this sort of shit. See. This is where I love to own pieces of vinyl and CD box selections because you get to read all the sleeve notes, don't you, and stuff.
And some of the album covers are amazing as well.
Yeah, and you don't ever get that these days with things like Spotify. It's all you don't own it, do you? You will own nothing and be happy.
But Spotify, they're probably all MP3s and probably the worst quality versions that you can get. Like MP3s
the free version is 160, isn't it? 160 megabits, whereas the paid for version is 320 megabits, so they're better quality.
A little bit better.
There's nothing like vinyl, there really isn't. And the heavy gauge vinyl, Jimmy, is definitely worth it. So what's people been saying then? Let's have a look. Well, who said River Dance? Is that you, Jimmy, or is it?
No, I wasn't trolling on the chat. No, I'll give you two guesses as to who it was.
Let me guess. I bet he wears glasses and can't do Friday shows.
I have a bad feeling this Friday thing is going to become a bit of a long-term thing, is it? Do you ever get that sense?
I think Chris Partridge might have guessed who it was.
He might do, indeed. He might do.
There we go. Lion's Share. On vinyl, I have a 79 Rainbow album, Down to Earth. Never get tired of listening. There you go. And
do you remember what the press versions are of the vinyl? You got the ones that they released that they just press the music from. They're a lot cheaper, but they don't last as long as the proper vinyls.
Oh, I forget the name of it.
That's something.
Yeah, I can't remember. I used to work in the industry because I worked for Universal Music for years, and I actually went to a vinyl factory and saw how they made vinyls. It was absolutely fascinating. It really was.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, it was down in Romford, I think it was, or Ilford, somewhere like that. Yeah, down in London.
Because even if you look up the study to how an actual vinyl makes the sounds it makes, it's quite interesting, the theory on it, the way the little crystal sort of like does the sine waves within the grooves, like it's fascinating, like. Yeah,
I think someone's definitely trolling us.
It's okay. Nothing better to be doing on this Friday night, but hanging around
He's
with us.
got nothing better to do, has he? Yeah.
No.
He's trolling us, I reckon, now, yeah.
Yeah. I guess
Should
he's
we
there.
put the link, Jimmy, in the chat?
Yeah. Do you know what? I bet you he's gone to mass tonight to say a prayer that he doesn't get a strike on his channel.
Yeah, he's hoping that you didn't screw up again.
Please, God, please don't make them say anything nasty. Please say nothing about that. Please.
Oh, look what he said here. Look, he's going to give us a break. I'll be on next Friday as well as Tuesday.
Okay, cool. Anyway, good to see you, Jay. Good to see
Nice
you,
to
bro.
see you, Jason. I hope you enjoyed our crap tonight. So there's the link for the after show. Anyone who wants to join in, Spanish ask. So I'm imagining that Spanish is going to jump in there. Maybe Tony normally jumps in there as well. So anyone wants to join the show, the after show, I will stay for 5, maybe 10 minutes, and then I'm going to bugger off. I don't know about you, Jimmy, but I'm
We
not
probably
going to.
won't stay that long either because I still have to make a bit of food, but we'll see. We'll see what the crack is like. And
Yeah, and we can also, and again,
but I'll be staying for a while anyway, just to make sure everybody gets in and gets settled, and for any late.
yeah, we can get people in the chat and they can chat amongst them. They don't need us there. That's the whole point of this show. Again, is to give people that ability to chat with their fellow like-minded,
their favorite radio hosts.
And again, don't forget the Big G is back on Tuesday with Jimmy, and I'll annoy them in the last 20 minutes as I like to, and then just tell you about my my health show that's coming up on Wednesday. And if you don't like that health show on Wednesday, you can go and watch the Cookie Crew and be interested in them, because I know that Tony jumps in and out of the shows when I'm on, because he does a bit of moderating for both. So, but we're done, Jimmy. We've done 2 hours. We've made it.
Well, I'm just going to say good night to everybody, and thanks for spending the few hours with us.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, we've had a good crowd tonight. We got up to about 37 at one point. So again, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. It's really good to have you along, and please come and join us. As the saying goes, what's happening here? What did Snake say? Practice for at least 5 minutes a day, or play a song if you don't have 5 minutes to spare every day. Often that 5 minutes turns out to be an hour, but do it every day and you'll be great at Nubian. Yeah, and I do my piano, as you've seen. I like to just jump on my piano. That's one of the ways I just escape from the world. I jump on it. The neighbours hate it. They go, "What's he bloody doing now?"
The cunt's jumping on his piano again.
And we've already got someone joined us. I don't know who it is. TWO. I don't know who that is.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, we'll say good night.
Anyway, thanks again, everyone. Good night. God bless, and may your God be with you.